Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Yugao had crush on Naruto, Harem, movie. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, SetsunaG, link is in the description. Also subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's start the story. Konohagakure no Sato, or the village hidden in the leaves, the most powerful of the 5 main villages of the elemental nation. Located in High no Kuni Fire Country, Konoha was founded by the Shodaime Hokage, Hashirama Senju, and the head of the Uchiha clan, Madara Uchiha. Madara with his little brother were considered like the most powerful shinobi of the Uchiha clan, and sole user of the Mangekyou Sharingan, the level 2 of the Ninjutsu Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. As the time passed, and more Madara and his little brother became aware that a repeated use of the Mangekyou Sharingan made the user slowly go blind. Madara became quickly obsessed to cure his blindness, and in a moment of madness, he fought his little brother and stole his eyes. In the process, Madara gained the last stage of the Sharingan, the I no Mangekyou Sharingan. These eyes granted him the immortality, and at last, but not the last, the ability to summon and tame the most powerful bitch, the Kippi no Kitsune. On the edge of the madness, Madara wanted to take over Konoha, and for that he challenged the Shodaime Hokage in a death battle in the Valley of the End. During the battle, Madara summoned the Kippi, but the beast was useless against the Shodaikeke Jinkai, Mokuton Hijustu. The battle ended with the death of Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. With the death of the Shodaime, his brother, Tobirama Senju, one the greatest user of Suiton and greatest strategist, took the title of Nidaime Hokage. During the reign of the Nidaime, the second great shinobi war began. This war ended with Konoha's victory, but with the heavy price of the Nidaime death. His successor, the Sandaime, is none other than his student Sarutobi Hiruzen, instrument of Konoha's victory with the Nidaime. Sarutobi had himself 3 students: Senju Tsunade, granddaughter of the Shodaime, Jiraiya the self-proclaimed super pervert, and Orochimaru, one of the greatest geniuses of Konoha's history. These 3 will earn the title of Sannin during their battle against Salamander Hanzo, the head of a Megakure, and one of the most powerful shinobi of the world. Several years after the end of the Second Great Shinobi War, Jiraiya will take a young apprentice, Namikaze Minato. Jiraiya will learn quickly that his young apprentice is certainly one of the greatest geniuses he's ever seen, with a knack for the lost art of Kenjutsu. During this time, the Third Shinobi War began between Iwa and Konoha. Ejinin at this moment strikes heavy blows to the Iwa's army with his 2 signature moves, the Hiraishin no Jutsu, who earned him the nickname Konoha no Kairoi Senki Yellow Flash and the Rasengan. The Third Shinobi War ended with Konoha's victory and Minato's promotion to the title of Yondaime Hokage. During his time in Konoha, he met one of Yuzu no Kuni refugees, Uzumaki Kushina. They fell in love, and with that Minato planned to rebuild the Namikaze clan with Kushina's help. October, in the Hokage office. Minato sat behind his desk full of scrolls with a frown on his face. His report said that the legendary Kippi no Kitsune had awakened, and it began to roam freely in High no Kuni. It will be at Konoha's door in 9 days. Ah, shit, Minato shouted. It hasn't even been 1 year since I'm Hokage, and this is happening. What can be done? Minato asked himself. The bitch are only gigantic masses of chakra. No matter how many attacks we launch, it will be useless, Minato said while rubbing his head in frustration. Minato read the scroll in his hand, and picked another scroll of Kenjutsu technique. Suddenly his eyes widened in realization. That's it, even if a bitch can't be killed, it can be sealed. But the Kippi is the strongest of them, so it can't be sealed in an object, Minato said while scratching his chin in reflection. Meanwhile, the door of the office opened to reveal none other than Hiruzen Sarutobi, the aged ex-Hokage. Minato snapped off his stupor, and eyed the aged man. "Greeting, Minato-kun," said the elderly with a kind smile on his face, while he eyed the mess at the Hokage office. "Greeting, Sarutobi-san," Minato responded while reading another scroll. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow with the evident lack of attention of the young Hokage. "So, Minato-kun, where's the fire?" Sarutobi tried to joke, but it's evident that it didn't have the desired effect. Minato raised his head at the ex-Hokage before responding. "I'm sorry, Sarutobi-san, but it's not the time to joke," responded Minato with a frown on his face. Sarutobi narrowed his eyes. "What's going on?" asked Sarutobi. Minato sighed, and handed a scroll to Sarutobi. "It seems that a bitch, the Kippi no Kitsune for more accuracy, is rampaging in High no Kuni. It will be here in 8 days," Minato said. Sarutobi's eyes widened at this development. The old man had seen many wars and death, but a bitch is nothing to joke about, and if it came to Konoha, it would be a slaughter. "What are we going to do?" Hokage-sama demanded, Sarutobi, alarmed by the situation. "I already did certain research on the bitch, and I know it can't be killed," said Minato, while Sarutobi paled at this revelation, "but it can be sealed. However, I don't know what, an object won't do it," Minato said while thinking very hard for a solution. Meanwhile, Sarutobi searched in his memory. If he remembered right, his late sensei Hashirama Senju told him once that the bitch core sealed into newborn baby is the chakra coil wasn't fully developed, and with that allowed the chakra of the demon to fully merge with his vessel. Minato-kun, Saruto called. "Yes," Minato responded. "I think I found the solution." Minato's eyes lit up at this statement. Yo, you are right when you say that an object can't contain the beast. However, a newborn baby whose chakra coils aren't fully developed can contain it, Sarutobi said with a sorrowful look. Minato's eyes widened at this statement. Indeed, it was the only thing that can stop the beast, but what parents in their right mind can do to their children? I admit, it might be a solution. But I don't think that a single parent wants to do that to their children, Minato stated. He was thinking, and he knew that the time ran low. His wife Namikaze Kushina was pregnant, and the baby will be delivered in 8 days. Minato hadn't the choice. This will be the most difficult choice for him, but it must be done for Konoha. Sarutobi's sorrowful look deepened. He knew that Kushina was pregnant, and it might be the only thing that can save the village from the destruction. Sarutobi-san, Minato said. Sarutobi eyed Minato. Minato sighed, and said, the Kikbi's vessel will be my son. Naruto, Minato said in a low voice. Kushina-chan will kill me, he thought. Sarutobi's eyes widened at that. Are you sure, Minato-kun? Sarutobi asked. Yes, I'm sure, Minato said. Sarutobi nodded. He doesn't like the idea of Minato using his son, but it's not like they have a choice. If nothing is done, Konoha is doomed. So, Minamoto-kun, how will you do it? Sarutobi asked. Minato pondered. It will require a powerful seal, so that Minato's eyes widened in recognition. I will be obliged to use that. It will cost my life, but Naruto will be safe. I will add an additional seal. With that, Naruto will absorb its chakra, and if I'm correct, it won't endanger his life. He will certainly have the dragon's blood just like me, and all the Namikaze. I will contact Bahamut-sama before I seal the beast in him, he thought. Minato, with a grim look on his face, responded to the elder. I will use the Shishimfukin and the Haki no Fukin Shiki at first, to allow the beast chakra to be converted in Naruto's chakra, Minato said, earning a nod of approval of the ex-Hokage, gesturing at Minato to continue, and I will use the Shiki Fukin to seal the beast in Naruto. Minato said while Sarutobi's eyes widened in shock and horror at his successor's plan. Then Minato, if you use that jutsu you will die, shouted a hysterical Sarutobi. I know, but it's the only thing that can seal Kikbi, practically shouted Minato. After calmed himself, Minato continued, and only my blood will be able to contain the power of the beast, said Minato while his head was in his hands. Sarutobi looked at him questionably. What do you mean? Asked Sarutobi. Minato looked at him. You will know in time, Sarutobi-san, but for now I must make the necessary preparations, and I must talk to Kushina-chan, said Minato. Sarutobi frowned at the young Hokage's statement, but nodded, and stood up from his chair. Very well, Minato-kun, I will order the evacuation of the civilians, and mobilize the shinobi for our battle while you create the seal, said Sarutobi. Minato nodded wordlessly, and began to write on a scroll. Sarutobi went to the door. He looked over his shoulder, and said, good luck, Minato-kun. Sarutobi closed the door without waiting for an answer. Minato looked over at Konoha, and said, I'm sorry, my son. I hope you will find the heart to forgive your foolish father. I just hope that the villager and Shinobu will go with my wish to treat you as a hero, Minato said. He turned over and looked at his predecessor's portrait, and said, in case that they will discard my wish, I must come with something for Naruto, said Minato with a thoughtful look on his face. That will do it. I hope Bahamut-sama will agree. Said Minato, and with that he began to write the seals that will claim his life and drastically change the fate of his son. Time skip 10, October. Minato arrived on the battlefield, and only one word could describe what Minato was seeing. Slaughtering roughly hundreds of shinobi who were lying on the ground obliterated by the beast, Minato narrowed his eyes at the sight of the Kikbi. In his arms was a bundle with his son nearly asleep. At the sight of his son, Minato let a single tear fall on his cheek at the memories of his deceased wife. A roar snapped Minato back to the realities. He made a fast set of hand seal, and said Kuchius no jutsu. A massive cloud of smoke could be seen all over the field. When the smoke cleared, Minato stood on the top of Gamabunta, the boss of the Toad Summon. Gamabunta eyed the Kikbi before him. Gamabunta blew a large puff of smoke, and said, so Minato, this is it, huh? Yes, if you can slow him down while I do the seal for the Shikifkin it will help me, said Minato while staring at the large beast before him. Understood, said Gamabunta while drawing his massive sword. Before we begin, know that I will miss Yugaki. Said Gamabunta with a small smirk. This statement drew a small smile on the face of the young Hokage. Thanks, Bunta. Before began a long series of hand seals. After 2 minutes of battle, Minato finished the last seal before crying Shikifkin. The Shinigami appeared behind Minato, and began to seal Kikbi's soul into Naruto. When the Shinigami finished the sealing, he began to eat Minato's soul. Before his soul was fully eaten, Minato spoke his last words to his son. Naruto, forgive me, said Minato, before falling off the head of Gamabunta, who caught him with his tongue, and laid him gently on the ground. With a last sad look, Gamabunta vanished in a massive cloud of smoke. Meanwhile, Sarutobi and Jiraiya arrived at the clearing, and saw Minato dead on the ground with Naruto next to him crying. Jiraiya picked up Naruto, and smiled sadly at the blonde-haired baby in his arms. Sarutobi stared at Minato's body, and his stare turned to Naruto before returning to Minato's body, and said, I swear to you, Minato, I will protect your son with my life. Jiraiya turned to his sensei, and spoke. I suggest that you give him his mother's maiden name. If I will learn that Minato had his son, they will send countless assassins after him, said Jiraiya. Sarutobi nodded slowly before spoke again. Let's go, Jiraiya. I will carry Minato's body, said Sarutobi, before he went to Minato's body, and picked him up before taking off to Konoha. 6 years after the Kiki's defeat by the hands of the Yondaime Hokage, Konoha began to heal from this fateful night of the 10th October. The civilian and shinobi alike mourned their lost one. Many lives had been lost that night. Many people had lost father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, and lover. At the end of Kiki's attack, and the Yondaime's death, the Sandaime Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, had been reinstated as the Hokage, the time to choose his, and the Yondaime's successor. The first thing that the Sandaime did when he was reinstated was to call a council meeting to discuss the damage and the plan to rebuild the village. The council is separated in two organizations, the Shinobi Council, whose member are Yamanaka Inoichi, head of the Shintention user clan who can read the mind, Narashikaku, head of the Kajimane user, and great strategist, Akamichi Chimza, Akamichi clan's head, Inuzuka Tsume, head of the Konoha's tracker, Aburam Shibi, head of Konoha's user of Kikaimashi, Hakahiashi, head of the Byakugan user, Uchiha Fugaku, head of the Sharingan user, and the seat of the Namikaze clan head, who is empty for now. The second part of the council is the Civilian Council, whose members are mainly merchants, and civilians who have a great influence in the village. At last there is the Hokage's Counselor, who are Udatain Kaheru, Mitakato Himura, who are Sarutobi's old teammates, Danzum, the head of the Rudanbu division, and the Hokage himself. During the meeting, Sarutobi declared the late Yondaime's action, the sealing of the beast inside an orphan baby named Uzumaki Naruto, and his wish to see the boy as a hero. The council's reactions were varied. The Shinobi Council minus the head of the Haka and the Uchiha agreed with Yondaime's last wish, while the civilians screamed for the child's head. Sarutobi, foreseeing that the Civilian Council couldn't be calmed, and would certainly attempt to take the child's life, he enforced a law that will punish by death the mention of Naruto's condition, and any attempt on his life. 1 year after that, the number of assassination attempts on Naruto's life was 83. Sandaime made the decision to assign an Anbu team to guard Naruto 24/7 while he's in the orphanage. 2 years later, Naruto is kicked from the orphanage, and will live 4 months in the street at the civilians' mercy. After many beating, which fortunately were stopped by the Anbu teams, the Hokage, who were not aware that Naruto was kicked from the orphanage, brought an apartment for him with a monthly allowance. Unfortunately, this didn't stop the beating. The Hokage decided to punish severely the responsible of Naruto's torture. After many arrests, execution, the beating finally stopped for 3 years. The 6-year-old boy with spiky blonde hair, icy blue eyes, 3 whisker marks on each cheek, was running across the street with a dozen angry villagers at his tail. He wore an orange-clad t-shirt with a black shirt and blue ninja sandals. His t-shirt were drenched with blood from the kunai located in his shoulder. While he's running, he can hear the villagers launch profanities at him like, "Come back here, demon, kill the demon." Why do they call me demon? I don't understand why I never did anything to them, he thought. He's running faster, and turned at a crossroad. Unfortunately, it was a dead end, and before he could turn around and take off to the street, he saw the villagers blocking the exit with a sick grin on their face. "So, the demon thinks that he can escape us, huh?" said one of the villagers, while the others drew out various weapons, sticks, staff, knives, katanas, mace, and kunai. Back at the wall with fear evident on his face, he began, "Please, I never did anything wrong," stammered Naruto while holding his hands before him. One of the villagers snorted, "TCH, never did anything wrong. You killed so many people, and you say you never did anything wrong? Go fuck yourself, fucking demon," the villager spat, before grabbing him, and began to punch him in the face. Naruto rolled on the floor before being stopped by the wall. "We had let you in peace because the Hokage always guarded you, but now," said a villager with a sickly glee in his eyes, "now we can finish what the Yondaime has begun. I'm sure he will be pleased by that," said the villager before began their onslaught on the poor boy who can't do nothing, then let many bloody scream out of his mouth. Meanwhile, at Konoha door, an Anbu team show up at the gate of Konohagakure. This team is composed of 4 members. One man with spiky silver hair defying the gravity. He's carrying a dog mask. His name Hada Kakashi, one of the best Anbu captain. "Ma, home sweet home," exclaimed the Anbu captain. His second in command, a man with spiky brown hair and a lion mask codenamed Tenzum, chuckled at his commander's antics. "I didn't think you were this eager to return home, senpai," said Tenzum, clearly amused. Kakashi shook his head before a grin appeared behind his mask. "It's not like I'm eager to return." Tenzum raised an eyebrows. "I'm eager to see what prank our little firecracker Naruto will pull off this time," said Kakashi while grinning like a madman. Tenzum laughed at that. "Oh yeah, don't remind me. His last stunt when he exposed the Haka's underwear was priceless. I remember Hiyashi-sama's look when he discovered that," said Tenzum while laughing all the way. Kakashi chuckled. "Indeed, that was good." He turned to his third teammate, a young woman with long purple hair and a cat mask. She is Uzuki Yugao, Anbu's new rookie member, and one of the youngest. She's only 16-year-old, and already an elite. "And you, cat, what do you think?" asked Kakashi. Yugao giggled. Indeed, that was a good stunt, but I prefer when he stole the Hokage's Ichi paradise and show it at the Anbu HQ, saying that the Hokage was a pervert. Said Yugao while trying to suppress the laughter at the memories and failing miserably. Tenzin chuckled. Yeah, that was good. That reminds me, Cat, you passed his 5th birthday with him, no? Said Tenzin with a sly smile on his face, earning a slight blush from Yugao. Tenzin turned to the last member of the team, a man with shoulder-length brown hair and a face that clearly showed that he's sick and always coughing. He's wearing a hawk mask. His name is Jekmhade, one of the best Konoha Genjutsu specialists. And you, Hawk, what do you think? Asked Tenzin. Hade stared at his superior and shrugged and coughed. Nothing much, cough. However, I must say, cough, that we have one hell of a cough. With all the crap that these idiots of Villager, cough, put him through, and don't lose his sanity, cough, tough guy. Said Hade while staring at his teammate. Kakashi and Tenzin lowered their head in sadness, while Yugao gritted her teeth and clenched her fists in anger toward these assholes. The Uzuki family had lost member during the Kikbi attack, but the survivor always respected the young Jinchuriki for his sacrifice. Kakashi stopped his mourning when he heard a scream, turning to his teammate and nodding his head before the Anbu team took off through the roof in the direction of the scream. When they arrived at the location, their eyes widened in shock and horror at the scene before them. Before their eyes were the little Naruto on the ground bathing in a pool of his blood with many cuts and stabbed with many kunai, surrounded by a dozen civilians. Hade was the first to overcome his shock. He unsheathed his sword and jumped just in time to stop a villager who was about to stab Naruto in the heart. With a quick vertical slash, Hade cut the villager's arm. The villager screamed in pain before collapsing on the ground. The Anbu team took a defensive position, while Yugao checked on Naruto. Kakashi glared at the villager. What the hell do you think you are doing? Demanded Kakahi. The brave stupid villager snorted. Ha, it's evident no. We finished what the yondaime started. Spatted the villager before being silenced by a kunai in his throat courtesy of Tenzin. The other villager stared wide-eyed at the fallen villager before beginning to pale when Kakashi began to leak killing intent. Meanwhile, Yugao was checking Naruto, and her eyes watered at the sight of the boy. He lost a lot of blood, his eyes were gouged, and he had a deep cut on his arm. Kakashi turned to Yugao, Cat, and delivered Naruto to the Hokage, quickly ordered Kakashi. Yugao nodded, and Sunshine to the Hokage office. Kakashi turned to the remaining villager. Your sentence will be death, for the Hokage's law transgression, shouted Kakashi. He turned to Tenzin. Tenzin, do it, shouted Kakashi. Tenzin nodded, and began to make some hand seal. He slammed his hand on the ground, and shouted Mokuten Hijutsu. Jukai Katan, would release secret technique. Birth of dense woodland, before many trees began to spread out from the ground and imprison the villager. Meanwhile, Kakashi began his own series of hand seal, and shouted Kaden. Nkakik no Jutsu fire release. Great fireball technique. A massive fireball moved toward the village, and incinerated the villager who screamed in agony. When the fire died, Kakashi turned to his teammates, he nodded at them, and Sunshine went away to the hospital. Meanwhile, at the Hokage office, Sarutobi Hiruzen was muttering various curses trying to defeat the most powerful enemy of any Hokage, the dreaded paperwork. While Sarutobi was cursing his fucking paperwork, he sensed a chakra signature arriving by Shunshin no Jutsu. He raised his head for greet the Anbu member. When Yugao arrived at the office, Hokage-sama shouted a nearly hysterical Yugao. Sarutobi's eyes widened in shock and horror at the sight of Naruto drenched in blood. He immediately pushed a button on his desk, and for Dr. Sunshine, Sarutobi barked his order. Quick, take him to the operation room, shouted Sarutobi. The doctors nodded, picked Naruto and Sunshine at the hospital. Sarutobi turned to Yugao and said, Cat, followed me. Yugao nodded, and Sunshine with the Hokage at the hospital. At the hospital, Sarutobi and Yugao waited outside the operation room with a tense silence. Finally, Yugao decided to break the ice. Hokage-sama, can I ask you something? Asked Yugao. The aged Hokage turned to face her and nodded slowly. Why do you believe in these doctors? Last time, nobody wanted to treat him. We were forced to threaten them to heal him, and even monitor them to not poison him. Asked Yugao. Sarutobi sighed and turned to the door. These doctors are those who delivered Naruto when he was born. They know that he's not a demon, said Sarutobi. Yugao nodded when a question popped in her head. Hokage-sama, may I ask, who were his parents? Asked Yugao, clearly interested, but nobody knew who his parents were. Sarutobi frowned at her question, and sighed. I don't know, Yugao-san, I'm sorry. He lied. Yugao frowned, but nodded. You are a very poor liar, Hokage-sama, she thought. Meanwhile, Tenzin, Kakashi, and Hade arrived. Sarutobi stood in front of them, and asked with his commanding tone, Inu, Tenzin, Hawk report, commanded Sarutobi. Kakashi knelt before his commander, and spoke in a business tone. Hi, Hokage-sama, we were returning from our A-ranked mission when we heard a scream. When we arrived at the scene, we saw Naruto on the ground with a dozen villagers around him. We intercepted them. I ordered Cat to take him to your office, and we disposed of the criminal, and finished Kakashi while breathing at the end. Sarutobi nodded slowly. When he was about to speak again, the door of the operation opened, and the doctor stepped in the corridor. Sarutobi rushed to the doctor. Kawashima-sensei, how is he? Asked a clearly worried Hokage. The doctor, as Kawashima sighed, and began to drop the bomb. He's suffering from a massive blood loss. He has multiple broken ribs. He has his 2 arms and 2 legs broken. But the most terrible thing is that they gouged his eyes. He will never see again. Said with a sad voice. Sarutobi and the Anbu team cringed at the idea of not being able to see these beautiful blue eyes unique to 2 people. One is long dead. I'm so sorry, Minato. I promised to protect your son. But I failed, you thought the old Hokage. Kakashi, Heiei, and Tenzin barely contained their anger, while it took all Yugau's willpower to not cry. I'm thanking you, Kawashima-sensei. You may leave. Said Sarutobi. Kawashima nodded and left. Sarutobi turned to his Anbu team. Let's go see him. Said Sarutobi. The team nodded and entered the room. Elsewhere, the figure snapped its eyes wide open, its pale yellow slitted eyes narrowed before speaking. TCH, these foolish humans, roared the figure before stand up. Look like you were right, Minato, said the being, and continued. I've waited too long. I must do something now, said the being. It looked at the sky. I'm sorry, Naruto. I've waited too long. I will make it up to you. I swear, said the being before vanished in a swirl of blue flames. At the hospital, the Hokage and the Anbu team started with a sorrowful look at the figure of Naruto lying on his bed with the body fully bandaged. Only his spiky blonde hair were visible. My god, muttered a watery-eyed Yugao. Sarutobi shook his head, clearly disappointed in his villager. Minato Kushina, what will you say if you know what these idiots have done to you, son? The Hokage turned to his Anbu team and sighed. Kakashi, Yamato, Heiei, you can go home. Kakashi, I'm waiting for your full report tomorrow. Said Sarutobi. The 3 men nodded and sunshine away. Sarutobi turned his stare to the 4th member of the team. Yugao-san, I want you to stay here and guard him, commanded Sarutobi. Yugao nodded. Sarutobi looked again at Naruto. Yugao decided to break the silence. These assholes don't deserve a hero like him, he spat Yugao with venom in her voice. Sarutobi looked at her and smiled. Thank you, Uzuki, Yugao thought the elder before spoke. Indeed, he's a hero just like his father. Slipped Sarutobi before slapping his hand on his mouth, but the deed was already done. Yugao glared at the elder Hokage and spoke. I thought that you didn't know his parents, Hokage-sama, said Yugao with an edge in her voice that promised pain if he didn't spit the information. Sarutobi knew that he was caught, did some hand seal, and muttered a silencing jutsu. The room began to glow blue, the glow died, and Sarutobi stood in front of Yugao. Before I tell you, Yugao-san, you must know that this is SS-ranked information. It's vital that this information doesn't leave this room. Understood, said the Hokage sternly. Yugao nodded and pondered why this information was ranked to the highest secret level. Sarutobi inhaled and began. Naruto's mother was Uzumaki Kushina, but you must know her under the nickname of Shinkarashi Crimson Cyclone for her exceptional use of Tanjutsu, said Sarutobi. Yugao was stunned and gaped like a fish. What, my hero, my model Shinkarashi, was Naruto's mother? Well, shit, thought Yugao. Sarutobi chuckled at his subordinate expression. She's not finished, thought Sarutobi before continuing. And his father was Namikaze Minato, known as Konoha no Kyorei-sen, and the Yondaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato, stated Sarutobi. Yugao's eyes bugged out of their socket. He was the son of 2 of the biggest legends of the shinobi world, but mostly the 2 most deadly shinobi that the world ever knew. She knew now why this information is SS ranked. Well, I will let you do your job and return to my office, stated Sarutobi, but before he shined away a swirl of blue flame appeared. Yugao and Sarutobi stood in a defensive stance, but were shocked of what appeared when the blue flame died down. Here stood a biped creature. It stood at 8 foot. It has a dragon head with mostly a blue skin with a hint of yellow on the belly. It has 2 wings. Its feathers were scale and were yellow and orange, and its hand and paw were clawed with golden claw. It turned its stare to the shocked old Hokage. You're the Sandaime Hokage, aren't you? Asked the creature. Sarutobi snapped of his shocked state. Yes, it's me. Who are you? Stuttered the Hokage, clearly afraid by the being before him. Do not fear me, human. I'm not your enemy, said the dragon. Somewhat Sarutobi and Yugao relaxed, and the dragon continued. Yes, my name is Bahamut. I'm the Dragon Lord, and I'm here for Naruto. Stated the dragon. Sarutobi widened his eyes, and Yugao looked at him questionably. Bahamut moved and put a hand on Naruto's forehead. His hand began to glow blue, and he frowned. Naruto, what have they done to you? Thought Bahamut. What do you mean you are here for Naruto? Asked Sarutobi to the Dragon Lord. Bahamut sighed. Minato hasn't told you anything, hasn't he? Asked Bahamut. Sarutobi looked at him questionably. Why is Minato involved? Asked the old Hokage. Bahamut sighed one more time before spoke. Sit down, this will be a long story, said Bahamut, and began his story. The Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was curled in a ball and muttered, no more, I don't want this pain anymore. Naruto continued to mutter this mantra before heard a voice. Compensate the voice. Naruto stood up and began to walk and head to the voice. He arrived to a huge room whose resembled to a sewer with huge bar. Behind the darkness, two blood-red eyes snapped open, startling Naruto. Who are you? Asked Naruto. The being chuckled and spoke again. I'm your savior. Reap that piece of paper, and I will relieve you from your pain, said sweetly the being. Naruto's eyes lit up at this statement and reached the seal with his hand, but when he was about to reap the seal, he was stopped by a man. Naruto looked at the newcomer. He stood at 62, had wild blonde hair, blue cerulean eyes. He wore a Chunin attire with a white cape, with the kanji Yondaime Hokage with orange flame that leaped at the bottom. The man grabbed Naruto. The being in the cage began to stroke the bar. I will kill you, Yondaime, shouted the being. Minato looked at the beast with a bored look. I didn't want to see you again, Kikbi, but I wanted to know how my son was doing, said Minato. Naruto looked at the man questionably. Son? What is he talking about? Naruto asked himself. Suddenly his eyes widened in realization. I see, he said that beast was the Kikbi, so it explains why the villager said that I'm a demon, thought Naruto. Minato looked at Naruto while Kikbi was rampaging in his cell. Minato finally spoke. He's noisy, isn't he? Let's go somewhere else, said Minato. Naruto blinked and was now in a white area with white sky with his father standing before him. Naruto stared at Minato before broke the silence. So you are the Yondaime Hokage, and my father? Asked Naruto hesitantly. Yes I am, my name is Namikaze Minato. Naruto breathed before spoke again. And you said that this beast was the Kikbi, right? Asked Naruto. Minato nodded, and Naruto continued. So the story that said that you killed it was pure bullshit. Instead of killing it, you sealed it into a newborn baby. Your own son, right? Stated Naruto in a calm voice. Minato looked surprised at his son, and with a hint of pride. He's really perceptive. He's really a 6-year-old boy, thought Minato. Yes, that's exact. I must say that I'm surprised that you figured that out in less than 2 minutes, said Minato. Naruto just shrugged. I already have some suspicions. My birthday is the 10th of October, the day of Kikbi's attack, and the villager who said that I'm a demon, all the glare, the hate directed at me, all fall in peace now, said Naruto while the tears fell freely on his cheeks. Minato looked sadly at his son, while the guilt crushed his heart. Minato's eyes watered. I'm sorry son, I'm so sorry, said Minato before being stopped by Naruto. Stop it, shouted Naruto. There is nothing to forgive, Tusan. You did what you have to do to save Konoha. I don't hate you. Hell, I'm the son of the greatest shinobi that Konoha ever produced, said Naruto. Minato looked at his son wide-eyed and rushed to his son. He grabbed him in a bone-crushing hug. Minato released his son and smiled at him. Knowing that I'm very proud of you, my son, said Minato. Can I ask you a question though? Asked Minato. Naruto nodded. Do you hate the villager? Asked Minato. Naruto pondered a moment before shook his head and spoke. If I hated them, I would be no better than them. I'm the remainder of what they lost that day. They exerts their frustration on me. But I will not yield. I will make them see me as Namikaze Naruto, and not as Kikbi no Kitsune, said Naruto with conviction in his voice. Minato looked at him with pride. Naruto continued. Also began Naruto while blushing slightly, and scratched behind his head with a goofy grin on his face. Yugao-chan will certainly be pissed if I began to alienate everybody, said Naruto nervously while scratching his head. Minato raised an eyebrows before a shit-eating grin appeared on his face. Looks like someone has a crush, said Minato slyly. Naruto blushed furiously before spoke again. Whatever you say, Tusen, I have 2 questions for you if you don't mind, asked Naruto to his father. Minato nodded. First, who is my mother? Asked Naruto. Minato nodded and spoke. Your mother's name was Uzumaki Kushina. She was a real tomboy, but a beautiful woman, and a real loud mouth. She was one of the sole survivors of Yuzu no Kuni. In battle she was fierce, and in my match she earned the nickname Shinkarashi, said Minato. Meanwhile Naruto listened with a small smile on his face at the discovery of his mother. Is she still alive? Naruto asked. Minato shook his head with a sad look on his face. No, I'm sorry, she died while giving birth to you. Her weakened states with the stress of Kikbi's attack. Her body couldn't handle it, said Minato. Naruto nodded sadly before spoke again. Lastly, why did you seal it in me? I don't think that a human can handle the Lord of all Demon with simply whisker cheek for drawback, stated Naruto. Minato gave him a puzzled look. Damn, Kushina-chan, we've engendered a genius, thought Minato, while he beamed in pride. Again, you were right, Naruto. It's because you, me, and all the Namikaze before us had dragon blood. Naruto looked at his father questionably. This blood allow us to summons the powerful dragon race. With Bahamut-sama as their lord, it's allow us and are made a longer lifespan than the rest of the human, explained Minato. Naruto pondered a moment at these information before voiced his question. He said that our blood allow us to summons the dragon, but why did you use the toad then? Asked Naruto. Minato nodded and began. Yes, I used the toad because a war occurred in the dragon realm. They needed time to restore their power. For that they needed to hibernate, and time for their eggs to hatch, Minato said, earning a nod of understanding from Naruto. Minato looked at the sky before spoke again. Well son, I must end our meeting. Bahamut-sama is here. He will take you to the dragon realm, and train you in the shinobi art, said Minato. Naruto's eyes shined in happiness at that. Really asked an excited Naruto. Minato nodded. Yada shouted an overjoyed Naruto. Minato chuckled at his son's antic. He's still a 6-year-old boy, after all, thought Minato with a smile on his face, before began to fade away. Wait, Toussaint, will I see you again? Asked Naruto. Minato shook his head. I'm sorry son, but I used all my remaining chakra, and Naruto's head dropped. Know this, Naruto, that me and your mother will always love you. Be strong, my son, said Minato, before fading away. Thank you, Toussaint said to Naruto before vanishing as well. In the real world, Sarutobi and Yugao stare shocked at the Dragon Lord with the revelation that the dragon has revealed. Sarutobi lighted up his pipe before blowing a stream of smoke and chuckled. Man, this little runt of Minato, he had one hell of a secret, said Sarutobi. Yugao nodded. Indeed, who could have thought that the Namikaze had that kind of power, she said. Bahamut nodded. Well, it's time for me to go. I will take Naruto with me. But before that, said Bahamut before turning to Yugao. I've seen what you have for him, Yugao-san, said Bahamut. Well, Yugao looked at him with a questionable look. What have I done for him, she asked the dragon. Bahamut chuckled. You were here for him when he was alone and in turmoil. If it wasn't for you, he couldn't be able to maintain his sanity. For that I insist to thank you, said Bahamut before one of his claw glowed blue and tapped it on Yugao forehead. She stared blankly at the ceiling before snapped into reality. What have you done to me? Asked Yugao, alarmed. Bahamut grinned. It's a gift, simply said Bahamut. Yugao raised an eyebrow. Don't worry, you will know time. Safe. Bahamut turned around and picked gently at Naruto and spoke to the two people in the room. He will come back in roughly 4 years. Be prepared though. If I'm correct, this will be very interesting, said Bahamut while grinning. Farewell. Said Bahamut before disappearing in a swirl of blue flame. Sarutobi turned to Yugao and said, well, Yugao-san, your mission is terminated. You can go home now. Sarutobi sunshine away. Yugao stared simply at Naruto's bed. Please, Naruto-kun, be safe and come back to us, she thought before sunshine went away. 4 years later. It's been 4 years since the Dragon Lord Bahamut took Naruto away from Konoha. Naruto's disappearance spread through the village like wildfire. Many villagers celebrated the death of the demon spawn or the demon brat. The festivities were brought to an end by the Hokage and nearly the entire Anbu contingent. Ansem cursed his bad luck. He wanted to kidnap the brat, enroll him into his root division, and turn him into his ultimate weapon. He cursed the Sandaime for turning down his proposition to turn the brat into a living weapon. The most surprised to learn of Naruto's disappearance were Kakashi, Hayate, and Yamato. When they questioned Yugao and the Hokage about the reason for his disappearance, they just shrugged it off and said that he was safe. Flashback. Yugao stood before the Hokage while he put his tobacco in his pipe and lit it up. Yugao began to speak. May I ask why you call me Hokage-sama? Asked Yugao, slightly annoyed to have been disturbed from her training session. Sarutobi looked at her. I'm sorry to disturb you, Yugao-san. I called you in regards to what happened yesterday, said Sarutobi while blowing a puff of smoke. Yugao raised an eyebrow. What about Hokage-sama? She asked. Well, it's considered like a SS rank secret at that moment. If the civilian council hears that Naruto had been taken by a dragon lord to be trained in the shinobi art, this will create an uproar that I will certainly not be able to control, stated Sarutobi while frowning at these narrow-minded bigots. Yugao frowned, but nodded. I understand, Hokage-sama, said Yugao before giggling. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. Yugao explained, it's really odd, he's only 6 years old, and he's already under 2 SS rank secrets, and 1 S ranked, stated Yugao. Sarutobi chuckled. Indeed, but you know it's certain to me that this brat will rocket the entire shinobi world, said Sarutobi. Yugao nodded before Sarutobi spoke again. You know, when I confronted him several months ago about his dream, do you know what his response was? Asked Sarutobi. Yugao shook her head. Sarutobi continued. He wanted to be Hokage, to be recognized by the villagers, and protect them. He wanted what he never had, a family, said quietly to Sarutobi. Yugao contemplated this information, and a smile appeared on her face. Just like Hayate-san said, we have one hell of a, said Yugao, earning a nod from the Hokage, before she continued. You know, Hokage-sama, the Anbu's life is very stressful. We see many horrible things, stated Yugao. Sarutobi looked at her questionably, but, with Naruto's carefree attitude, his pranks, his smile, he succeeded to relieve the stress that many of us were practically unable to handle. Even the Anbu commander dubbed him Konoha's sunshine, stated Yugao, while her smile grew wider. Sarutobi looked at her with a kind smile on his face. Naruto, you are really something. All the Anbu are under your thumb, thought the elder. Well, Yugao-san, I don't want to disturb you more than necessary, said Sarutobi. Yugao nodded and bowed before sunshine away. Then flashback. Few miles away from Konoha. A black-clad figure can be seen walking on Konoha's road. When Konoha's wall began to appear, a smile appeared on his face. I'm back, said the black figure before vanishing in a small tornado. At the Hokage office, Sarutobi was cursing loudly. This paperwork is the Hokage's bane. He turned to look at his predecessor. Damn you, Minato. I swear you died intentionally to avoid this fucking paperwork, he thought, while he swore that he saw the portrait mock him with a goofy smile. Sarutobi read one of the scroll on the desk. It's the latest report from one of his Anbu team about the self-proclaimed hunter. The Rixinken dragon flash. This hunter appeared less than 1 year and a half ago. He began to clear the highest bounty in the bingo book and had destroyed several drugs and prostitution network. Of course the name Sinken brought Iwa's attention, and that SetsunaG immediately ordered to all his onion to search and kill the Kairoi Sinken one-up. Needless to say that SetsunaG lost almost 80% of his onion force and added the Rixinken in the bingo book as section SS ranking and flee on sight. Much to the Tsukikage's dismay, he think that Namika's Minato's ghost came to haunt him. Of course when the news reached Konoha, that created quite a stunt among the council. Danzum suggested to arrest the man and force him to join Konoha, earning a nod of approval from the council. It's Sarutobi and his two advisors that calmed the uproar, saying that if the man earned the class SS ranking in the Iwa's bingo book, it wasn't for the show, the man will be brought to Konoha. But pacifically. Sarutobi sighed and said to himself, Naruto, please come back here and take my job. I can't take it anymore. Whined the old Hokage while crying the Inim's tears. Oh, and Hokage whining, I almost pity you, said a voice that reasoned through the office. Sarutobi jerked from his chair and drawn a kunai from his robe and speak. Or you show yourself, commanded Sarutobi, who began to tense. If this man had been able to come here undetected, then he was no pushover. Wow, calm down, I'm not your enemy, said the voice, before stepping out of the shadow. It's been a long time, Oji-san said to the man. At the sight of the man, Sarutobi's jaw literally hit the ground while his eyes popped out their socket. The man before him stood at 62, has a very handsome face, wild spiky blonde hair, icy blue eyes. He wore black ambuping with 2 kunai holster on each thigh. He wore black ninja sandal, and a black Chunin vest, and fingerless black glove. He wore a long black sleeve cape with the kanju Irik on the back with blue flame that leaked at the bottom. Sarutobi pointed a finger at the man. Minato stuttered, the old Hokage, shocked beyond belief. Minato chuckled. I know that I look like Tusen, but you know I'm hurt that you didn't recognize me even after I called you. Oji-sen said Minato with a mocked hurt look on his face. Sarutobi's eyes widened even more in realization. I am possible, Naruto shouted a soon-to-be senile Hokage. Naruto flashed a grin. Yup, that's me, he said with a goofy grin on his face. But how, you were 6 years old, how can you be like that now, asked a very confused and shocked Sandame Hokage. Naruto let a nervous chuckle. Well, about that, you remember that I was brought to the Dragon Realm, right, asked Naruto, earning a nod from the Hokage. He continued, well, between here and the Dragon Realm there is a different timeline. 1 year here is 5 years in the Dragon Realm. I'm about 19 years old. I will be 20 the 10th October, said Naruto while scratching the back of his head. Sarutobi sighed and collapsed in his chair while rubbed his temple. He felt the headache already when something popped up in his mind and looked at Naruto and saw his eyes. Naruto asked Sarutobi. Naruto had perked. How do you still have your eyes? I thought they were gouged, asked Sarutobi. Naruto sighed. Well, it's not really my eyes. Bahamijiji implanted them, said Naruto with a frown at the memories. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. Bahamijiji asked Sarutobi. Naruto flashed a grin. Yeah, he's like my grandfather, just like you, even if he doesn't like the title, said Naruto. Sarutobi smirked inwardly. That's Naruto for you, only he has the ball to call Jiji, one of the most powerful beings that exist. But they are not really your eyes, they belong to someone else, asked Sarutobi. Naruto shook his head. Nah, simply the dragon's medicine is far above our own. But Bahamijiji gave me these eyes that can be considered like a ninjutsu, but it's not hereditary. I have a more definite sight, I can see a human's soul, and detect chakra signatures, stated Naruto. Sarutobi was flabbergasted by this revelation. But tell me, Oji-san, how has life treated you these past 4 years, asked Naruto. Sarutobi smiled at his surrogate grandson and began to explain what he missed these past 4 years. Meanwhile at the Anbu HQ, the Anbu captain Hada Kakashi sighed for the 10th time today, reading a certain report on the Rixinken. Apparently the man used a deadly dragon-based technique, but it's very wide. Nobody really saw him use his jutsu, and nobody who engaged him lived to tell. There's the matter of his team too. His team is one of the best Anbu teams, but Heide's health can't allow him to continue Anbu's duty. Kakashi asked the Hokage to take a new recruit, but the old man hadn't made his choice yet. Kakashi snapped from his stupor when he heard the door of his office opening. At the door were his two subordinates without their masks. There's a man with spiky brown hair and creepy eyes who stands 511. His name is Yamato. Next to him, a beautiful woman with long purple hair, brown eyes, and angelic face. She stood 58. She is Izuki Yugao. She replaced Heide as Konoha's best Kenjutsu specialist. Kakashi smiled at his subordinate. Hello you two, how are you, asked Kakashi. We are fine, Teichi responded Yugao. She eyed the scroll in Kakashi's hand. Yamato spoke. So, Kakashi-senpai, have the Hokage picked up our new teammate, asked Yamato. Kakashi shook his head. No, not yet, he retorted. Yugao, and Yamato frowned at that. Yugao spoke. We must see him now, Teichin. It's been nearly 1 week since Heiei-san's departure. We can't stay inactive forever, urged the purple-haired woman, not really pleased with her team's inactivity. Takashi nodded. Yes, we will do that, but before that, we are off duty today. Go change your clothes, and meet me at the Hokage Tower in 10 minutes. Understand, commanded Kakashi. Kai. They said in unison before leaving the room. At the Hokage office. I miss many things indeed, said Naruto. The Sandaime filled the blonde with all the important events that occurred these past 4 years, like Kumo's failed attempt to kidnap Heike Hinata, who ended with a civil war in Kumo between the Raikage's follower and those against his policy. The Raikage ordered Heike Hiyashi's head for the death of his ambassador, but with the civil war, he forgot these orders. There are the Uchiha massacre also. The rumor said that Uchiha Itachi slaughtered his own clan minus his little brother Uchiha Sasuke, but strangely, Uchiha Fugaku and his wife Uchiha Mikoto were nowhere to be found, but are considered dead, and Uchiha Itachi fled Konoha, and is now considered like a S-rank missing nin. Yes, you have missed many things, but stop with that, I want to know about you, said Sarutobi. Naruto grinned. You want how strong I am, don't you, said Naruto. Sarutobi grinned sheepishly. Well, I know since you are the Rikusenki that you are certainly strong, but nobody knows your skills precisely. By the way, where are your whisker marks stated by the Sandaime? Naruto grinned. This will be good. Well, to start, Kikbi isn't here anymore, said Naruto nonchalantly. Sarutobi stopped a moment before responding the only intelligent answers that he could afford at the moment. Inside, Naruto laughed his ass off. Like I said, Kikbi is dead. The whiskers were proof that he was sealed in me, but now that he is dead, the mark has faded away, stated Naruto. Sarutobi stared at the man before him with utter disbelief. But how, stuttered the old man. I will tell you. You know the specificity of my father's seal, right, asked Naruto. Sarutobi nodded. Well, I studied the Fukinjutsu, and I modified the Shishinfukin and the Haki no Fukin Shiki. I figured that the seal's symbols and trigrams moderated the flow of Kikbi's chakra converted, so I created the Hachishinfukin 8 symbol seal. And the Chkrakyuk no Fukin Shiki 16 trigram seal. This boosted the amount of Kikbi's chakra. I suffered for 2 weeks, but in the end I drained every last bit of Kikbi's chakra, and his soul faded away. This bastard struggled to his life, and tried to break me mentally, but he failed miserably, ended Naruto while breathing at the end. Sarutobi looked at him flabbergasted. Well shit, he succeeded where his father failed. That's truly crazy, Sarutobi thought. Naruto continued. Though I modified my seals with Jiraiya's help, stated Naruto. Sarutobi had perked at that. You met Jiraiya, asked the old man. Naruto smirked. Hell yeah, I trained perverted godfather for several months. He's the one who taught me the Rasengan, interrogation, and torture, and I created my own spy network, said nonchalantly Naruto. Sarutobi's eyes widened, but frowned at the interrogation and torture part, ignoring that for the moment the Sandaime spoke. You know the Rasengan, asked the Hokage. Yes, I learned it in 2 weeks. I know Hiraishin too. It will be a shame if I have a Kekkei Genkai, and I don't use it, said a slightly cocky Naruto. Sarutobi's whitened. Hiraishin is a Kekkei Genkai, asked a surprised old man. Naruto nodded. Yes, only the body of an amicus can handle the stress of time and space manipulation, explained Naruto. Sarutobi smirked. Your nickname Rikusenki wasn't for the show after all, said Sarutobi with a smirk on his face mimicked by Naruto. After a moment Sarutobi speak again. Something bugs me though, I barely sense any chakra from you, asked Sarutobi. Naruto chuckled. You underestimate me, Oji-san. I used 2 suppression seals. Now I'm suppressing my chakra, but I've cage level chakra, but without my suppression seals, I have more chakra than 10 cage, stated Naruto while Sarutobi stared with wide eye and gaped like a fish. My god Minato, you created a monster, thought of frantic Sarutobi. Naruto continued, like you guessed, I'm a seal master. I've 3 high affinities with Raiden, Futon, and Suiton. I'm a master in the 3 of them, and created several original jutsu. I'm quite proficient in Dothan manipulation, certainly on par with its Tsuchikage. With my Futon and Suiton affinities I can use Haimten jutsu, and I'm quite proficient in them too. Naruto breathed while Sarutobi's eyes bugged to their sockets. Naruto continued. I use the Lost Jutsu style Shiro Renge, no White Lotus of the Dragon, thanks to Wandering Maverick. I'm also a Kenjutsu master in the heightened Mitsurugi Rick style, and the Shirayuki no Mai dance of the White Snow Dot, said Naruto. Sarutobi picked his jaw from the ground, and spoke. Is there anything you can't do, asked with sarcasm Sarutobi. Naruto smirked. Well, my weakness is the Genjutsu. Even with my excellent chakra control, with my massive chakra reserve, I can't cast any Genjutsu. I can dispel them, but the higher one is really hard for me, explained Naruto. Sarutobi nodded and added. If you are a Kenjutsu user, can I see your sword, asked Sarutobi. Naruto nodded, picked a scroll from his pocket, bit his thumb, and spread some blood on it. The scroll opened, and with a poof of smoke, a katana appeared. Naruto handed it to Sarutobi, and said, it's called Heimer Meru Ice Ring. said Naruto. Sarutobi nodded and analyzed the sword. Its length of 42 with black sheath. The handle is strapped in a tight blue nylon. Its blade is very well sharpened and beautiful. Sarutobi voiced it. It's really a beautiful sword, Naruto said to Sarutobi, and returned the sword to Naruto, who strapped it to his back. I must say that I'm really surprised that you made so much progress even in 10 years, stated Sarutobi. Naruto grinned. Well, I discovered a very efficient training method, said the blind, smiling. Sarutobi raised an eyebrows. What is it? Asked an interested Hokage. Naruto grinned. Well, it's very simple, and I'm sure it can solve your paperwork problem, said a cocky Naruto, while Sarutobi widened his eyes before Naruto. Please, great Naruto-sama, tell me why. Pathetic Hokage. Naruto inside laughed his ass off before held 2 fingers. 2 words, said Naruto while Sarutobi held his breath. Naruto grinned and said Kage Bunshin. Sarutobi froze for a moment before standing up. He opened his drawer, took a piece of paper with a ring with the word slap here, and began to bang his head, while muttering baka 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 baka. Naruto roared in laughter and fell on the ground. It's at this scene that the Ambitium One entered the office with their Chunin gear, and sweat dropped to the side of the Hokage, hitting his head on the desk, and a man laughing on the floor. The Hokage stopped his onslaught. The man stopped laughing, stand up, and turned to the 3, their eyes widened in shock at the sight of the man who is the splitting image of the Yondaime Hokage. Kakashi is the first to speak with a shaky voice. And Minato-sensei, is it you? Stuttered Kakashi. Naruto sighed. Yeah, I think that this will be a pain in the ass, if they all have the same reaction, said Naruto while cursing his resemblance to his father. Sarutobi chuckled. Give them a break, after all you look exactly like your father, stated Sarutobi. Naruto sighed again. Maybe, but I don't want to be my father's clone. I have my own technique. I will build my own legacy, said Naruto with conviction in his voice. Meanwhile, the 3 spectators were a little upset to be ignored. Kakashi stared at the man who proclaimed to be his sensei's son, though he never married. Yugao stared at the man, but for another reason. He was very handsome, and she can tell that he had a very well-toned body. She couldn't help but blush a little at this sight before snapped from her stupor at the mention of the man father. Suddenly her eyes widened in realization. I am possible, she thought. She voiced her thought. And Naruto-kun, is it you? She asked with a shocked voice. Her 2 teammates stared at her like she was crazy. Naruto turned his stare to her, before his eyes widened slightly in realization, and with a warm smile. Hey Yugao-chan, it's been a long time, said a warm Naruto. Yugao blushed a little at his smile before launching herself at the man, and enveloped him into a big hug. Naruto chuckled at his friend's antics before returning the hug. She looked in his eyes. Naruto-kun, you look like 20 years old. How is that possible? She asked. Well, about that, you remember that I was brought to the Dragon Realm, right? Asked Naruto, earning a nod from the woman. He continued, well, between here and the Dragon Realm there is a different timeline. 1 year here is 5 years in the Dragon Realm. So I'm 19 years old, he said. Yugao looked oddly at him, but nodded. Sarutobi looked at them with a smile on his face, who turned into an evil grin. Well, what do we have here? Looks like one of Konoha's Ice Queen is beginning to melt. Kuku. If I play my card right, we can have an interesting development, the Hokage thought with an evil glee in his eyes, while a slightly flustered Yugao and Naruto broke the hug. So Team 1, why are you here? It's your day off today, asked the old man. We came here to request a 4th member for our team, responded Yamato in a professional tone. I see, retorted the old Hokage. Meanwhile, Kakashi was really lost. Before him was the Yondaime's clone, and now he learned that this man is none other than the little firecracker Naruto, the prankster king. Okay, what's going on here? Nearly shouted at a frustrated Kakashi. Sarutobi sighed, and decided to explain what occurred 4 years ago, and Kikbi's statue. To say that Kakashi and Yamato are shocked would be an understatement. Here they learn that not only Naruto's real surname is not Uzumaki, but Namikaze, but he is the son of Namikaze Minato, and the legendary Shinkarashi. Not only that, but the Namikaze have the dragon blood that allow them to summon these creatures, and in the end, Naruto had been taken away by the Dragon Lord Bahamut, and trained in the shinobi art. Naruto is the Riksing, the man that obliterated 80% of Iowa's onion. But the most shocking thing was the news of Kikbi's death. He did what his father couldn't, he killed it. Kakashi rubbed his temple, and sighed. Well, that certainly is an unexpected development, said Kakashi. Yamato couldn't agree more. Sarutobi chuckled, and turned to Naruto. So my boy, what will you do, now that you came back? Asked Sarutobi. All the eyes turned to the blonde, who scratched his head nervously. Well, I want to be a leaf shinobi, but I want to stay in the shadow for the moment, so I wanted to ask you if I can enter the Anbu, asked Naruto. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow at the weird demand of his surrogate grandson, while the other people in the room stared in disbelief at the blonde. He looked at the Team 1 before grinning inwardly. Kuku, hook, line, and sinker, thought the old man. Ma, I think I can arrange that, said Sarutobi, while everybody looked at him. You see, Naruto, the Anbu Team 1 here is 1 member short, so I think I can pull some string and make you the 4th member, said Sarutobi, while Team 1 looked at him with wide eyes. Naruto grinned like a madman. Thanks Oji-san, exclaimed Naruto. Sarutobi chuckled. Don't mention it, my boy, said Sarutobi. Although, I would like to know why you want to be behind the curtain, asked the old Hokage. Naruto sighed. I told you that I built my own spy network, cried Sarutobi nodded. Well, several months one of my spies discovered that several members of Konoha's council were corrupted. Stated Naruto. The other members of the room widened their eyes. Sarutobi frowned. It was a serious accusal, but if it was true then it's clearly treason. Do you have any proof or name, asked seriously Sarutobi. Naruto shook his head. I don't have any proof, but I have one name though, Danzo, said a dead serious Naruto. The other members of the room frowned. They all knew him, and nobody liked him. Sarutobi voiced it. I say that I'm not really surprised since I disbanded his rude Anbu. He's always alienate me, said Sarutobi. Naruto frowned. That doesn't really stop him, Oji-san, said the blind. Everybody looked oddly at him. Naruto sighed. You are aware that several civilian children vanished, right? Sarutobi nodded. Well, it's him. You might have disbanded the root officially, but in truth he rebuilt his force with the children that he kidnapped, and transformed them into mindless killing machine only loyal to him, said Naruto, while the eyes of the people in the room widened in horror. Yugao even began to leak killing intent toward the old warhawk. Naruto continued. Anyway, that's why I want to be in the shadows. In the Anbu I will have the liberty to investigate further, and in 3 years I will certainly have all the proof required. I will live in the Anbu HQ in the meantime, said Naruto. Sarutobi nodded, and blew a puff of smoke. Very well, but I want to be aware of all your discoveries, stated Sarutobi. Naruto nodded. Now, what mask do you want? Asked Sarutobi, but guessing already. Naruto chuckled. Black Dragon, said Naruto. Sarutobi grinned. Very well, your codename will be Kermrick. You will be assigned to the Anbu Team 1 under Hada Kakashi. Meet your team tomorrow at 6 AM at the Anbu HQ to retrieve your gear, commanded Sarutobi. Hi, Hokage-sama, responded Naruto. Sarutobi turned to Kakashi. Kakashi, I'll let you take over the modality, said Sarutobi. Kakashi nodded. Very well, you are dismissed, commanded by Sarutobi. The news Team 1 bowed and left the room. At the bottom of the Hokage Tower, Team 1 exited the Hokage Tower. Kakashi turned to Naruto. Naruto, why don't we introduce ourselves, asked Kakashi. Naruto nodded. My name is Hada Kakashi. My likes are for me to know, for you to find out. My dislikes are item, and my dream item. My combat specialities are ninjutsu and the Sharingan, said Kakashi with his infamous eye smile. Yamato and Yugao rolled their eyes. Naruto smiled. So, your name is Hada Kakashi. Your like are Icha Paradise. Your dislike are those who don't like Icha Paradise. Your hobbies are to read Icha Paradise. And your dream is one day to co-author Icha Paradise with Jiraiya, said Naruto. Kakashi stared wide-eyed, while Yamato and Yugao snickered. How, asked Kakashi. Naruto shrugged. I lived several months with your idol. I read all your letters, said Naruto. Yamato and Yugao roared in laughter while Kakashi gaped like a fish. Yamato recovered and presented himself. My name is Yamato. My like are reading, training. My dislike are certain snake sanin. I don't have any particularized hobby and dream. My specialities are Mokujinjutsu, said Yamato. Naruto nodded and turned to Yugao. My name is Uzuki Yugao. My like are training, Kinjutsu, and go to the spa. My dislike are perverts. My hobbies are learning new Kinjutsu style, and my dream is to be one of the best Kinjutsu specialists of the shinobi world. My specialities are Kinjutsu and Suitenjutsu, said Yugao. Naruto nodded. Well, it's my turn. My name is Namikaze Naruto. I like my friends ramen. My dislikes are those who judge others without knowing them. I am training and creating new techniques. My specialties are ninjutsu and Raiden, Futon, Suiten, Doten, and Heimten, Kinjutsu, and Kinjutsu. My dream, well, he took a quick glance at Yugao that didn't go unnoticed by Yamato and Kakashi. I guess my dream is to become Hokage and to rebuild the Namikaze clan. The other nodded. Kakashi, take a look at his clock. Well, it's time to go. Rest for tomorrow. We have a mission, Kakashi said, earning a nod from his team. Yamato and Kakashi parted away, leaving Yugao and Naruto alone. Yugao turned to Naruto. So, Naruto-kun, you said that one of your specialities was Kinjutsu. What style do you use, asked Yugao. Naruto looked at her. Well, I have two in fact. My katana's Heimer Naru can channel Heimten chakra, so I have one style who is the heightened Mr. Ugirik that I use in symbiosis with the Horatian to strike at blinding speed, while I use the Shirayuki no Mai for the Heimten abilities of my blade, explained Naruto. Yugao pondered a moment where she heard the name heightened Mr. Ugirik. When it hit her like a ton of brick, her eyes popped out from their socket. Heightened Mr. Ugirik, like the lost Kinjutsu art that was rumored to be the most powerful of them, nearly shouted Yugao. Naruto almost melted under her stare. Yeah, said Naruto while grinning sheepishly before being tackled to the ground with Yugao on his stomach. Can you teach me please, asked a frantic Yugao while using the deadly puppy eyes no jutsu. Naruto gulped. Ha, okay, Yugao-chan, if you insist, but before that can you get up please, asked Naruto. Yugao stared at him a moment before realizing in what position she's in. She widened her eyes before getting up at lightning speed, blushing furiously. Naruto stood up, as well shook his blush, and looked at Yugao seriously. Listen Yugao-chan, the heightened Mr. Rick is a style that require godly speed. For the time being your body may not be able to handle it, so at first we will train your body after our mission, said Naruto. Yugao nodded. Well, I guess it's time to go, bye Naruto-kun, she said, and waved at him. Naruto nodded, said his goodbye too, and sunshine away. If he stayed a little longer, he could have seen the slight blush on Yugao's cheek. The next day, Naruto was walking across the Anbu HQ after retrieved his gear and his back dragon mask. He's heading to Kakashi's office. He stopped before the door and knocked. He heard a loud enter. He opened the door and stepped in the office where stood Kakashi, Yugao, and Yamato. Yugao couldn't help but drool a little at the sight of Naruto's toned arm and body. She recomposed herself immediately while Kakashi began to speak. Okay team, we received reports saying that border town near Omegakure's territory suffer from case of children's kidnapping. We are to investigate and eliminate the menace. There might be Nin level missing Nin, so this is a A-ranked mission. We take off in 30 minutes, dismissed, ordered Kakashi. Raikai said his team in unison. 30 miles from border town, in the middle of the night. 4 figures could be seen jumping in the tree. They moved stealthy and quickly before one of them stopped and mentioned to the other to stop. Octium, we will set up a camp for the night, ordered the man with the Inumisk. The 3 other nodded and made the camp. Meanwhile a man with a black dragon mask walked to his captain. Taichm, I can make several cage bunchen for the scouting of the area, said Kermrick at his commander. Inu pondered before nod. Good idea Kermrick, do it, ordered Inu. Kermrick nodded and made a cross-shaped seal, and 5 cage bunchen popped in existence and took off. Kermrick stared at the area before his eyes landed on the cat-masked Anbu. Inu looked at him before follow his stare. When his eyes landed on the purple-haired Anbu, Inu grinned behind his mask. Su, Kermrick, what do you think of cat? Asked slyly the Anbu captain. Kermrick looked at him questionably. What do you mean, Taichm asked the black-masked Anbu. Inu sighed. Don't play dumb with me. I know this look of yours, said Inu. He approached his mouth to the black-masked ear. You like cat? Whispered Inu. Kermrick face flustered. Well, why you began Kermrick before one of his clone memories popped in his head. Kermrick face began serious. Taichm, I discovered the enemy camp 1 mile from here. The children are fine. There are 15 enemies. 3 of them are Jnin Anbu level. The rest merely Jnin level. Breathed the black-masked Anbu. Inu narrowed his eyes, but nodded. Understood. Go find Cat and Tenzin. We will strike tonight when they are not aware, said Inu. Kermrick nodded. At the bandit camp. Okay team, Kermrick determined the missing Nin's position. Cat, you will take the west side. Kill all the missing Nin that you will find. Cat nodded. Tenzin, you go to the north. You rescue the children. Tenzin nodded. Kermrick, you come with me. We take the east. Kermrick nodded, and the team separated. With Yugao. Yugao moved stealthily across the camp when her eyes landed on 2 missing Nin. Their bandana had the Iwas symbol with a slash across it. I was missing Nin, huh? Well, let's go, she thought before began a series of hand seal, and whispered Sujin. Mizrapa no JOOTSU water release. Violent water wave. She expelled a powerful stream of water that hit one of the missing Nin and knocked him unconscious. She immediately unsheathed her sword and sunshine behind the second target, who have not registered what was going on, and beheaded him with a quick horizontal slash. She moved to the knocked Nin and beheaded him too. After that she sheathed her sword. HMPF. Not even a challenge, she thought before takeoff. With Yamato. Yamato spotted the cage where the children were prisoner. The cage is guarded by 3 Nin. One of them is easily Jnin level. Yamato began a series of hand seal and slammed his hand on the ground and whispered Mokutin Hijutsu. Jukai Katan, wood release secret technique. Birth of dense woodland. Several trees sprouted from the ground and began to strangle the target. After 30 seconds the 3 Nins dropped on the ground, dead. Yamato approached the corpse. Really not that tough. They're from Iwa after all. They always privilege the quantities over the qualities, thought Yamato before releasing the children. But Kakashi and Naruto. Kakashi and Naruto wandered through the camp while disposing the trash on the road. They were moving stealthy when suddenly a barrage of kunai speeded toward them, obliging them to jump away. When they landed and looked ahead, they saw the 2 Anbu level Nin with 3 Nins level Nin. One of the missing Nin grinned. Well, what do we have here? Looks like the Konoha scum have come to play, said the apparently leader. Kakashi snickered. You're not worth our time, but you created quite stun with your kidnapping, so we came here to say hello, said Kakashi. The leader's anger began to raise. Shut up scum, I will crush you, shouted the leader before began to make some hand seals, and shouted Oden. I will Yado Kuzashi, earth release. Stone lodging destruction. A barrage of rock began to fall over the 2 Anbu, obliging them to dodge and separate. Naruto is face to face with the apparently leader and 2 Nins. The leader smirked. Well, the fate is not on your side, but you will die here, shouted the leader before began to make some hand seal. He slammed his hand on the ground and shouted Oden. Duriken no Jutsu, earth release. Earth Dragon Projectile. Before a dragon's head rose from the ground and began to spite mud projectiles, Naruto began his own series of hand seals and slammed his hands on the ground. And set Doten. Tetsunaki no Jutsu, Earth Release. Iron Wall Jutsu. Before an iron wall rose from the ground and stopped the mud projectiles. To say that the leader was surprised would be an understatement. To be able to use iron manipulation even in Iowa, this is very rare. Meanwhile, a Chunin sneaked behind Naruto and tried to stab Naruto with a kunai, but the blonde sensed him and stepped aside to avoid the blow. Naruto kicked him in the gut, threw him away, and knocked him. Naruto turned to the two remaining shinobi and smiled. "Well, let's end this, shall we?" said the blind before dropping to a horse stance with his right arm tensed in a loose position. He whispered Shira Renge, no requite lotus of the dragon 2 chakra dragon wing, spread from his back before he vanished from the two shinobi sight. The leader searched frantically for the blind. Only to hear a scream from his fellow shinobi, he turned his head and nearly shit himself to the sight. His friends had 7 holes in the body, and all were at a vital point. The leader flashed through several hand seals and set Doten. Kuka no Jutsu, Earth Release. Hardening technique. Before his body encased itself into earth armor. "Come here, Konoha's come, you will never pierce my ultimate defense, and I will crush you," shouted the leader. Naruto hooked his head at the man's stupidity and appeared behind him. He made the necessary hand seals at blinding speed and set Raiden. Dengmei Chem KM no Jutsu, lightning style. Lightning roar technique. Before a tiger made of lightning headed to the missing nin with a roar, the nin never had a chance to avoid the strike and screamed in agony before dropping on the ground dead. Naruto let out a breath before Kakashi landed next to him. "That was really interesting that you pulled," said Kakashi. Naruto shrugged. "It's one of the originals that I created. I can teach you if you want," proposed Naruto. Kakashi smiled. "I would love to, but I wanted to see one of your Rikjutsu," said Kakashi. Naruto shook his head. "Sorry, I can't, it will blow up my cover," said Naruto. Kakashi just nodded. Yugao and Yamato landed next to them. "Mission accomplished, Teichin. The children are safe and are waiting for us," said Yugao. Kakashi nodded. "Understood, good job, team." Kat, Tenzin, escorted the children to their home. "Rick, and I will clean up after we can go home," said Kakashi. Yamato and Yugao nodded before taking off. Kakashi turned to Naruto. "So about what we discussed earlier?" asked Kakashi. Naruto looked at him and sighed. "Yes, I do, but she will never see me that way," responded Naruto with a defeated tone before turning around and walking off. Kakashi chuckled. "I don't think so, you will see when you will be ready," said Kakashi before taking off as well. It took 1 week for the Anbu Team 1 to complete their mission. After being thanked warmly by the children's families that had been abducted, the team headed to Konoha. After returning to Konoha, Kakashi dismissed his team. Yugao and Naruto headed to the training ground to begin their training. Yamato headed to his room to take a good rest, while Kakashi took off to the Hokage to give his report. Hokage office. For once, Sarutobi hears and didn't have any paperwork to do, so he took the chance to read his beloved little orange book, signed by his own student Jiraiya. While he was reading, a slight blush crept to his cheek. And he giggled like a horny schoolgirl. "Jiraiya, you are really a genius, so Ayako-chan, you naughty girl," thought the perverted old man before tensing at the approach of a chakra signature, but relaxing as he recognized the signature. Kakashi arrived at the office and found the Hokage reading an all too familiar little orange book. Kakashi grinned. "Ma Hokage-sama, what would your wife say if she saw you read this?" asked an amused Kakashi. Sarutobi snorted. "Look who's talking, it's not me that read that book in the middle of the street," retorted an irritated Hokage. Kakashi flashed one of his infamous eye smiles. "I'm joking, Hokage-sama. Anyways, I came here to report that the mission has been a success, and this is the report," said Kakashi proudly. The old man nodded and looked at the scroll. He eyed Kakashi and asked the $1 million worth question. "So Kakashi, did you by any chance take a glimpse of Naruto's skills?" Kakashi nodded his head. "Yes, although it's very obscure. When I arrived, one Chunin was already down. After that, Naruto took a horse stance, and chakra dragon wings spread from his back. I looked at this with my Sharingan, and I detected that, along with his chakra wing, his entire body was surrounded by a glow of chakra. After he vanished, even my Sharingan couldn't follow him." Sarutobi's eyes widened at that. For the Sharingan to not be able to follow something is most likely near the lightning speed. "After that, I heard one of the shinobi scream. He had fist-sized holes at the 7 vitals points. The other shinobi, certainly the stronger of them, used Doten. Kuka no Jutsu, Earth Release. Hardening technique. Naruto reappeared behind him and used a jutsu called Raiden. Dengmei Chem KM no Jutsu, lightning style. Lightning roar technique. He made a lightning tiger that blasted the nin, killing him." Kakashi finished his report with a breath. Sarutobi rubbed his temple. "This brat will certainly give him a headache every day." "Well, I'm afraid that we will never really see him at full strength. He was trained by one of the most powerful beings that exist after all. I'm certain that only a bitch can make him serious," stated that Sandame earned a nod from Kakashi. Indeed, Hokage-sama, he can make very interesting strategies. He is a powerhouse, has 4 elemental affinities, and uses a taijutsu style that makes guys miserable. He might not have our experience, but his raw power makes up for it. He might even take your place in a few years. Sarutobi stood up, walked to the windows, and looked over Konoha. You know Kakashi? Kakashi looked at him. 10 years ago I promised on Minato's corpse to protect Naruto at all costs, said Sarutobi. Well, for the first time in many years looked very old, but I failed him. I didn't have the strength to oppose the council, and adopt him. I can say that it is I who destroyed his childhood, said the Sandaime with a sad look on his face. Kakashi frowned. Hokage-sama, you may blame yourself for that, but you are not the only one. I also could protect him more than the Anbu duty allowed me, said Kakashi with a dejected look on his face while thinking of his sensei's son. You have nothing to regret about Kakashi, you didn't know that Minato had a son, stated Sarutobi while looking down in shame. Kakashi frowned, and decided to light up the mood. Hokage-sama, I discovered something very interesting during the mission about Naruto, said Kakashi with a devious smile. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. Ho? And what could it be called, Kakashi? Asked the Hokage, clearly interested. Kakashi continued to smile. Well, Naruto openly admitted to having a crush on our Kenjutsu mistress Uzuki Yugao, said, and enjoyed Kakashi. Sarutobi smirked. Yes, I knew he had a crush on her since she first saved him from an angry mob. It seems that this crush blossomed in love, stated the old man with a grin on his face. Kakashi frowned. Not even funny, he knew already, mumbled Kakashi. The old Hokage grinned like a child. So Kakashi, is there anything else? Asked Sarutobi. Kakashi shook his head. No, Hokage-sama, responded Kakashi. Sarutobi nodded, and dismissed him. With Yugao and Naruto. Naruto and Yugao stood in the middle of the private Anbu's training ground. Yugao wore a tight training suit that hugged perfectly her curve. Naruto had to fight very hard a nosebleed. So, Naruto-kun, what are you going to teach me? Asked Yugao, eager to begin the training. Naruto scratched his head nervously. Well, I won't teach you anything for the time being, Yugao frowned, but before she could protest Naruto cut her. However, like I said, the height Mitsurugi Rick require godly speed, so I will train your body. Not that you aren't trained, but I fear that it's not enough, said Naruto. Yugao couldn't help but a slight perverted thought at the mention train your body recompassing herself. She voiced her question. But I wear chakra, is it not enough? Asked Yugao. Naruto shook his head. No, it's not enough. Chakra weight might be good for enhancing the body's mass, but it's not all. The high Mitsurugi Rick is a combination of strength, speed, and chakra enhanced strike. That's why you need, not only to improve your body, but your chakra reserves too, which are, don't take it the wrong way, pretty low, explained Naruto. Yugao frowned slightly, but nodded. It was indeed the truth. She had one of the smallest chakra reserves in the Anbu. Okay, Naruto-kun, how do we do that? Asked the purple-haired woman. Naruto pulled a pen and a bottle of ink and approached her. Show me your shoulder, said Naruto. Yugao complained. Naruto couldn't help but blush at Yugao's toned but very feminine body. Recompassing himself, he began to draw a seal on her shoulder. When he finished, he made some hand seal and said, Kinjutsu. Jinshoku Goku Chichi, sealing technique. Gravity seal X1. He tapped the seal with his finger, and Yugao found herself face to the dirt. She tried to get up, but was stopped by Naruto. Yugao-chan, don't try to use your muscle to get up. Channel chakra through your body, said Naruto. Yugao mumbled something like smart as she slowly get up and adjusted herself. Well, I must say that contrary to the chakra weight, this seal is something else, said the woman. Naruto nodded. You have the same, don't you? Asked Yugao. Naruto nodded and smiled. Yes, I have the same, but it's the Fukin-jutsu. Jinshuku Gaku Jiroku, sealing technique. Gravity seal X16, and it's not activated at the moment. You must let the seal activate the day, and disable it at night. When you reach 2 weeks of use, let it off for 1 week. The seal can damage your bones if you let it activate too long, explained the blonde. Yugao stared wide-eyed at the blonde that had a seal 16th time stronger than her, while she struggled to maintain herself up. Naruto continued. It will take time for you to adapt to the seal. When you will not feel it anymore, I will update it to the 2nd level, stated Naruto, earning a nod from Yugao. Naruto looked at the sky. Well, it's pretty late. We will begin the training when you will be used to the seal, stated Naruto, earning a nod from Yugao. When he was about to bid his goodbye, the purple-haired woman cut him. Oh no, Naruto-kun, she asked shyly with a slight blush on her cheek. Naruto looked at her questionably. Do you want to go out and eat something with me? Asked Yugao while the blush on her cheek darkened. To say that Naruto was shocked would be an understatement. Is she asking me on a date? He thought, not believing at all that his crush was asking him on a date, but when he was about to nod, he remembered why he was in the Anbu. He sighed and looked painfully at Yugao. I'm sorry, Yugao-chan, I would love to, really, but I can't. It could blow up my cover, and I don't want to henge. We could meet the Haka, said the blonde with a dejected look on his face. Yugao looked down in sadness. When she was about to say that it didn't matter, an idea popped in her head. She looked at Naruto. If that's the case, Naruto-kun, why don't we dinner to my family home? Asked hopefully Yugao. Naruto looked at her oddly before sighing. Again, I would love to, Yugao-chan, but your family might, said Naruto before being cut by Yugao. No? She shouted, startling the blonde. My family always respected you. Yes, we lost a few members. I lost my father. Naruto looked down in shame, but we never took our anger out on you. We always respected you for your sacrifice, she said with a determined look on her face. Naruto looked at her, and a lone tear fell on his cheek. Thanks, Yugao-chan, it means a lot to me, said the blonde with a shaky voice. Yugao walked to him, put a hand on his cheek, wiped away the tears, and gave him a warm smile. You're welcome, Naruto-kun, so let's go, shall we? Asked Yugao. Naruto smiled at her, and nodded before taking off to the Uzuki house. In Konoha Street, two feminine figures could be seen walking through the street. One is a beautiful woman with black hair, ruby red eye. She stood at 56. She wore a weird dress made of bandage, and a chinin vest. She was Iki Kurenai, one of the best Jinjutsu user. The other woman, another beauty, stood at 58, had short purple hair with a pineapple. She wore a brown trench coat, a short dark brown skirt above a fishnet cloth which covered the rest of her body. Her name was Anko Mitarashi, the snake mistress, and former student of the traitorous Sanin, Orochimaru. While they were walking, Anko threw her hand in the air. Oh, it's so boring, there is nothing to do, shouted a very angry and bored Anko. Kurenai chuckled at her friend antic. Don't be like that, Anko-chan, exclaimed playfully Kurenai. Anko pouted. The red-eyed beauty sighed. Alright, you win. I will buy you as many dango as you want. Is that okay? Asked Kurenai, but instantly regretted it when she saw the shit-eating grin on her friend's face. Oh shit, what have I done, she asked herself. Yahoo! Thanks, Kur-chan, you are the best, shouted an overjoyed Anko, while Kurenai sighed in dismay. Anko dashed forward at high speed with Kurenai on tail, and sighed one more time, but when she turned a corner, she bumped into Anko, and fell on her butt. Now Anko-chan, why the hell do HMPH? Shouted Kurenai before being silenced by a hand on her mouth, and being dragged in the corner. Anko released Kurenai, who glared at her. What was that for, Anko? Asked a visibly angry Kurenai. Anko put a finger on her mouth, and pointed at the road. Kurenai decided to peek, and her eyes widened at what she saw. A purple-haired woman whom she recognized immediately, walking, and laughing with a tall black masked Ambu. It's Yugao-chan. Look like she's on a date. It was more a statement than a question. Kurenai looked at the man, and could tell that he was very handsome, and muscular. Well, she found a nice piece of meat, no wonder she rejected Hate-san, commented Kurenai. Anko nodded before a devious smile appeared on her face. Kurenai gulped slightly. She knew all too well what this smiley mean. Looks like we have juicy blackmail, Kur-chan said to Anko, while grinning like a mad woman. She turned, and looked at Kurenai. Let's go, Kur-chan, we shall catch her later, said Anko before heading to the dango stand. Kurenai turned to the spot where Yugao and Naruto were well rest in peace. Yugao-chan thought the brunette before following her sadistic friend. At the Uzuki family home, Naruto and Yugao stood in front of the door of the Uzuki family house. To say that Naruto was nervous would be an understatement. He was never really invited to someone else's house, and less than his longtime crush. Yugao noticed his discomfort, and couldn't really blame him. After all, he never had anyone to take care of him. The only friends he made were generally far more aged than him, so now he's lacking social skills. Yugao decided to ease the blonde by putting her hand on his arm. Naruto looked at her. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, you will be fine. My family will certainly be overjoyed to have you for dinner, said Yugao with a gentle voice. Naruto looked at her, and smiled softly. Thank you, Yugao-chan. However, I think that I should have changed my clothes. The Anbu armor isn't really suited for dinner, said Naruto while looking at his outfit. Yugao giggled softly. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, we don't really mind that, said Yugao before going to the door, and knocking. A soft coming could be heard before the door opened, and a woman stood before the two Anbu. She was an older version of Yugao. She wore traditional civilian clothing. She was Uzuki Ryaka, Yugao's mother. She immediately recognized her daughter Yugao, and smiled warmly at her. Yugao-chan, I'm so happy to see you, said Ryaka while hugging her daughter. She broke the hug, and looked at Yugao. It's been so long since you came here to visit, I began to think that you had forgotten me. Ryaka looked a little hurt. Yugao winced a little. I'm sorry, Kasan, but with the Anbu duty, and all, I didn't have the time to come, said Yugao while slapping herself in her mind. It's been almost 1 month since the last time that she paid a visit to her mother. Her mother smiled at her. It's alright, dear, I know that you are very busy. But tell me, she said while looking at Naruto, who is your friend? She asked, being a little afraid by the black dragon mask. Yugao smiled. This is Kurmrik, Kasan, the 4th member of our team. He's replacing Hate-san, since his health won't allow him to continue Anbu duty, explained. Ryaka breathed inwardly. She knew that Hate was interested in her daughter, but Ryaka didn't really like him. He was polite, but his regard contained something very creepy. She was happy that the man was out of Yugao life. Yugao turned to Kurmrik, and nodded at him. He nodded at her before moving his hand to his mask, and removed it. When his face was visible, Ryaka gasped, and had the cliché reaction. Minato-sama, shouted a shocked Ryaka. Naruto's eyebrows twitched slightly, but he calmed himself, while Yugao had to suppress a giggle. Naruto sighed and moved forward. He extended his hand to Ryaka. "It's a pleasure to meet you." Miss Ryaka snapped from her shocked states and shook Naruto's hand. "Ryaka, my name is Uzuki Ryaka," she said, still a little dazed. Naruto smiled. "Miss Ryaka, my name is Namikaze Naruto, and indeed, I'm Yandame's son, but you must know me under the name Uzumaki." Naruto said to Naruto while crossing his fingers that she doesn't scorn him. Ryaka pondered for a moment, wondering where she heard the name Uzumaki, before her eyes widened in realization. "You're the," she asked, but Naruto cut her. "Yes, I was Kikbi's vessel," said Naruto, emphasizing the war. Ryaka looked at him questionably. "Ano was?" she asked. Yugao clapped her hand, gaining Naruto's and Ryaka's attention. "Okay, why don't we discuss that inside?" asked Yugao. Naruto and Ryaka nodded before walking into the house. The house was fairly large. It would be considered like a mansion. In the mansion, Naruto met Yugao's uncle Uzuki Akira, who was the commander of the Onion contingent. After quick presentation, Naruto explained what occurred 4 years ago, the meeting with Kikbi and his father. Yugao was shocked she didn't know, to his meeting with Bahamut, his hunter career, his meeting with Jiraiya, to the Kikbi's death, and his reason to return to Konoha. To say that Ryaka and Akira were shocked would be an understatement. This young man had killed the demon lord, the same that his father couldn't kill, but Akira and Ryaka were glad that the beast died. Ryaka's husband and Akira's brother Uzuki Haruko had been avenged. The dinner was filled with laughter and cheerfulness. Naruto has never eaten that much since he was first brought to Ichiraku Ramen by the Hokage. While Ryaka and Yugao moved to the kitchen to prepare the coffee, Akira, who's been curious about Naruto's intention about his niece, decided to have a nice little chat with the blonde. "So, Naruto-san, what are your intentions towards my niece?" demanded the Onion commander. Naruto nearly choked himself with a piece of bread before looking at Akira with a surprised look. "Everyone can see through me or what?" the blonde asked to himself, slightly irritated. Naruto sighed. "Am I so easy to read?" asked the blonde, earning a smile from Akira. "No, not really, but you look at her just like I looked at my wife back in my genin days," confessed Akira while remembering the old time. Naruto looked at him and shrugged. "It doesn't really matter how I feel about her, she will never see me that way," said the Anbu with a dejected look on his face. Akira frowned, but couldn't really blame the blonde from being pessimist. Many would have snapped if they went through his past. However, when Akira was about to retort to Yugao, Ryaka returned from the kitchen with a cup of coffee. It was getting pretty late, so Naruto decided to leave the Uzuki family. After saying his goodbye and promising to come again, Naruto headed to the door accompanied by Yugao. When they reached the door and stepped outside, Naruto turned to Yugao and smiled at her. "I haven't had this fun for a long time." "You're welcome, Naruto-kun," responded Yugao before a tense silence was set between them. Naruto scratched his head nervously. "You know, Yugao-chan," she looked at him, "with all that happened I never had the chance to properly thank you for everything," said Naruto, still scratching his head in embarrassment. Yugao looked at him oddly. "What do you mean, Naruto-kun?" asked Yugao. Naruto took a breath. "Well, since you first saved me, you always took the time to be around me when nobody wanted me. I realized many years after this, that if it wasn't for you, I certainly wouldn't be able to keep my sanity. For that I thank you," said Naruto while approaching her. When he finished, he planted a kiss on her cheek. Yugao mind was blank, trying to understand. Meanwhile, Naruto turned around. "I swear it, I will protect her. I won't let this vision come true," thought Naruto with tears in his eyes, before vanishing in a yellow flash. The flash snapped Yugao from her stupor, and stared absent-mindedly at the spot where she last saw Naruto, before a giggle caught her attention to the door where her mother was standing with a shit-eating grin on her face. Well, what do we have here? Looks like my little girl found herself a boyfriend," said Ryaka playfully. Yugao growled at her mother, and headed to her room while mumbling something like "Baka sexy blonde," and "kill her mother slowly." Ryaka shook her head, and chuckled. When she was about to walk up to her room, her mother stopped her. "You know, Yugao, if you don't confront him with your feelings you might regret it," stated Ryaka, earning an odd look from her daughter. "What do you mean, Kasen?" "About Naruto-kun," said Yugao before biting her lips at the end. She couldn't deny her feelings for the blonde any longer. Indeed, he was caring, gentle, handsome, and strong both physically and mentally. She cursed her and Naruto's density. Ryaka smiled at her daughter, who finally understood her own feelings. Yugao took a long breath. "You're right, Kasen, I do like him. But I don't think he feels the same way," explained Yugao with a dejected look. Ryaka slapped her forehead at her daughter's stupidity. She must do something or she might never have grandchildren. "You kidding me, right? The man adores Yugao-chan. I saw that look in his eyes when he talked to you. They were the eyes of a man that is completely in love. It's not a stupid crush from an adolescent, but pure love. But he suffered more than any experienced shinobi. He's afraid to open his heart and be alone again. He's afraid to screw up and lose you," explained Ryaka. Yugao was stunned. Her heart stopped. Did she really hear that correctly? He really loved her? All these questions were racing through her head. Reka, seeing that her daughter was in an internal turmoil, put a reassuring hand on Ygao's shoulder, earning the girl's attention. Listen to me, Yugao-chan, tomorrow go to him and confront him. I'm sure that he will return your feelings, said Ryaka in a motherly voice before hugging her daughter. Thank you, Ka-san, I know what to do now, said Yugao in her mother's arms. When suspicions came to her mind, she glared at her mother. You weren't this willing to hook me up with Hayate-san, what's going on? Asked the purple-haired girl with an edge in her voice that promised pain. Ryaka grinned sheepishly. I wouldn't lie to you, I haven't liked Hayate-san since the first time I saw him. I don't know, something inside me told me that he wasn't for you. But Naruto-san, I met him only this evening, but I can already tell that he is a kind and gentle person. The life hadn't been kind to him, but he stood up and came back stronger than ever. He is what you call a real man, said Ryaka while looking Yugao dead in the eyes. Yugao frowned, but smiled at the end. In fact, she was quite happy that her mother approved of Naruto. Thank you, Ka-san. Now if you don't mind, I will go to bed. I have a heart to heal tomorrow, said Yugao before kissing her mother and going to her room. Ryaka looked at her daughter's door with a smile. You aren't quite a man, my dear. I'm sure you two are the perfect match, she thought before sighing. Too bad I'm not younger. He is sexy as hell, thought the older woman with a small blush on her cheek before leaving to her room. In the Anbu HQ, Naruto walked in his room and launched himself on his bed. He stared blankly at the ceiling before a large grin appeared on his face. He did it, he kissed the woman of his dream. Even if it was just a peck on the cheek, it felt extremely good. He felt that he could fly in the sky. I see that you enjoyed yourself, Naruto, boomed a voice in Naruto's head. Naruto snapped from his musing and grinned like a madman. Hey Bahamut Jiji, long time no see, said Naruto. Bahamut grinned as well. Indeed, it has, my boy, and stop calling me Jiji, shouted the Dragon Lord, clearly annoyed by the lack of respect from the blonde. Naruto smiled. Ma, don't be like that, so what's up? Asked Naruto. Bahamut frowned slightly and sighed. Nothing much, since you left it has become rather boring around here. Nobody to annoy, messaged Bahamut while smiling slightly. Anyways, I activated the link between us since you entered Yugao-san's house, and I must say, my boy, that you scared me a moment, but you scored great time with your last action, said Bahamut with a perverted grin on his face, though Naruto couldn't see it. You spied on me? Demanded Naruto rather angrily. Bahamut snorted. Hey, don't blame me, I want great-grandchildren. And I must say that you couldn't choose a better mate than Yugao-san, stated Bahamut, earning a snort from Naruto. Wow, hold your horse, we aren't together with Yugao-chan. Bahamut rolled his eyes, but didn't say anything. And it looks like you're acknowledging your grandfather, said smugly Naruto while dancing the French cancan in his head. Bahamut grumbled something like shut up, earning a snicker from Naruto. So, what do you want? You didn't call me to talk about my sentimental life, asked Naruto. Bahamut grinned. Indeed, I called you to tell Yaowu things. When is it I finish the dragon summon scroll? It's time for the dragon race to leave the shadow since the Black Flight betrayed us, stated Bahamut. Naruto's eyes grew wide, while the Dragon Lord continued, so I'm counting on you to let only those you consider worthy to sign the summon contract, said the dragon, earning a nod of understanding from Naruto. Also, the second thing that I wanted to say was about Yugao-san, said Bahamut, earning a full attention from the blonde. What's going on with Yugao-chan? Asked Naruto, clearly worried. Bahamut shook his head. Nothing bad, don't worry. Naruto sighed in relief. Bahamut chuckled. When I took you away from Konoha, I gave a gift to Yugao-san. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Bahamut grinned. I gave her the ability to use the Riksenjutsu, stated nonchalantly Bahamut. Naruto's eyes began the size of a dinner plate. You what? Shouted Naruto, waking up the entire Anbu HQ. Bahamut winced at the volume. Naruto recomposed himself and glared mentally at the Dragon Lord. What the hell were you thinking? To use the Senjutsu and feel the dragon's natural energy, you must die one moment. Not that I doubt Yugao-chan's strength, but it's too dangerous, said Naruto angrily. The Dragon Lord sighed. He knew that the overprotectiveness of his surrogate grandson would obscure his judgment. Naruto, I injected it with my own chakra, so it will activate itself in time. She wouldn't have to die to use the Riksenjutsu. But she will need you to learn how to use it, explained Bahamut. Naruto sighed. Okay, not that I like it, said Naruto while rubbing his temp. The Dragon Lord nodded. He remembered something and grinned. By the way, Kuroda finished the Ninjato Kyoka Sujetsu, water mirror, that you asked to craft, stated the Dragon Lord. Naruto grinned like a madman and thanked the Dragon Lord and cut the link between them. When the blonde was about to go to sleep, his attention turned to his katana Heimermeru, which started to glow white. Naruto smiled. Hey Heimermeru, you're finally awake. The next day, we found Yugao in her family's dojo facing her uncle in a Kenjutsu stance. The two eyed each other before they launched at each other at blinding speed. Akira tried to cut Yugao with a horizontal slash, but was parred by her ninjato. Struggling for dominance, Yugao kicked her uncle in the guts, sending him towards the wall. Akira twisted his body, and landed on his feet before launching a vicious kick to Yugao's chin, sending her in the air. After landing loudly on the ground, Yugao and Akira exchanged swords blow after blow when suddenly Akira dropped in an all too well-known stance, and shouted Konoha-rik. Mikazuki no Mai, Kono has technique. Dance under the new moon. 3 copies of Akira appeared, and disarmed Yugao with a succession of quick slaps. I yelled, Yugao said quickly. Akira nodded, and lowered his weapon, and frowned at his niece. What's going on, Yugao? Your movements were slow, and sloppy. You never moved like that before. Asked Akira, slightly worried for his niece. Yugao quickly bowed. My apologies, Oji-sama, but I'm trying new weight that Naruto-kun gave me. I must say that the chakra weights are nothing compared to the Jinshuku Gakyun. Explained the purple-haired woman. Akira nodded in understanding. Kinjutsu ha. Nobody has used it since Yondaime. But it comes from his son, I'm not really surprised. Okay Yugao, we will spar again when you will be used to the seal. Stated Akira. Yugao nodded, bowed, and left to meet her friends at the dango shop. At the dango shop, Yugao searched around to find the table where her friends would be. Her eyes landed on a table where 3 women were sitting. Yugao recognized Mitarashi Enko and Iki Kurenai. The third woman wore a tight body warmer with a standard chiknin vest. She had black hair tied in a ponytail. She had 2 red marks under her eyes. She was Hana Inuzuka, heiress of the Inuzuka clan. Yugao approached the table and greeted her friends. Good morning Kurenai, Enko, Hana. Said cheerfully to Yugao while the 3 other women stared intensely at her. Yugao raised an eyebrow. What? Is there something on my face, she asked, slightly annoyed. Hana chuckled and answered. No, Yugao-chan, Kurt-chan, and Enko-chan filled me with the last juicy news. Said slyly Hana while grinning like a wolf. Yugao stared at her interest. Oh, and what would it be? Asked Yugao, who immediately regretted it when she saw the devious smile on the 3 women's faces. Well, it would be about a certain blonde-haired, black-masked Anbu that you seem to know all too well, Yugao-chan. Said sly Enko. Yugao widened her eyes, and cursed under her breath. She had been caught by the 3 bigger gossips of Konoha. Yugao stood up, and glared at her friends. Kurt-chan, your apartment is nearby, no? Kurenai nodded dumbly. Yugao began to walk to the door. Let's go there. I won't answer your question until we are there. Said Yugao in a stern voice that surprised her friends, but they nodded, and walked to Kurenai's apartment. At Kurenai's apartment. When Yugao closed the door, she made some hand seal, and muttered a silencing. The room glowed blue. When the glow died, Yugao turned to her friends who stared at her like she had grown a second head. Okay, what's going on here? Nearly shouted Hana. Yugao looked at the 3 women, and sighed. Listen to me girls, this information is SS ranked. The 3 women widened their eyes. Normally I shouldn't tell you, but you will certainly make my life a living hell until I tell you, the woman grinned sheepishly. Yugao began to explain everything about Naruto, his heritage, the last beating, Kibi's death, his return, and how he is now the Anbu member Kurmrik. To say that Kurenai, Enko, and Hana were shocked would be an understatement, Enko voiced it. Well shit, that really is certainly something else, said Enko. Kurenai and Hana couldn't agree more. Yugao breathed a little. When she was about to relax, she looked at Hana, who had a devious smile on her face. Yugao shivered. So Yugao-chan, what is your relationship with him? Asked Hana slyly. Yugao blushed a shade that would make Hinata proud, and tried to hide it, but in vain. What or why you talking about? There is nothing BB between me and him. Stuttered Yugao while trying to contain her blush. The other member of the room snickered. Yeah right, and Kakashi doesn't like to read Icha Paradise. Joked Hana. Yugao sighed. She knew that she was caught. So what's next? Asked Yugao. The other women in the room looked at each other, and nodded. Can we meet him? Asked Kurenai. Yugao pondered a moment before nodding at them. Yugao motioned them to follow her to the training ground 44. At the training ground 44. When the 4 women arrived at the training ground, they were stunned by the sight before their eyes. Indeed, in the middle of the clearing was Naruto. He was levitating, and was seated in the lotus position. His body was surrounded by a blue aura with chakra dragon wings that spread from his back. In the front of him was his sword Heimermare that levitated as well. The sword glowed with a white aura. The 2 glowed for an entire 2 minutes before the glow died. Naruto opened his eyes and grabbed his sword. He noticed 4 chakra signatures. He turned around and looked at the 4 newcomers. He recognized Yugao and smiled behind his mask. Hello Yugao-san, what can I do for you? And who are your friends? Asked the black-masked man in a professional tone. Yugao sighed and made some hand seals. She slammed her hand on the ground. The silencing took the form of a blue dome. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but I tell them everything. They saw us yesterday. I hope that you aren't angry at me, said Yugao. Naruto sighed and removed his mask. Enko, Hana, and Kurenai gasped slightly in front of Naruto's handsome visage. Hana literally drooled over him. As long as it doesn't spread around the village, I don't mind, said Naruto, reassuring Yugao. After a quick presentation, the groups discussed and laughed together as the group discussed. A bird landed on Naruto's shoulder with a message. After he read the message, he burned it and turned to Yugao. Team 1 has a mission, Yugao-chan. We must report in the Hokage Tower in 10 minutes. Let's go, said Naruto while putting his mask on. Yugao nodded and turned to her friends and said goodbye before taking off with Naruto. Kurenai was about to take off with Anko when she saw the dazed look of Hana with a slight blush on her cheek. Kurenai shook her head. Look like that someone is falling in love. No wonder though, she thought, before shaking Hana from her stupor, and vanished with her in a swirl of leaves. With Yugao and Naruto. After retrieving Yugao's gear, they headed to the Hokage Tower. They were jumping through the roof when Naruto remembered something and suddenly stopped. Yugao landed next to him and looked questionably at him. Naruto turned to face her with a smile. I almost forgot, Yugao-chan, I have 2 presents for you, said Naruto happily. Yugao raised an eyebrow. Why Naruto-kun? She asked. Naruto grinned and scratched his head sheepishly. Consider it as a thank you for all that you have done for me, said Naruto. He grabbed a scroll and spilled some blood on it. The scroll opened, and with a poof, an Ninjato appeared. Naruto handed it to Yugao. She took it and examined it. The length was 50 centimeters. It had a black sheath. On the blade was a blue dragon with waves coming from the hilt. The blade was emitting chakra. This sword is a beautiful, Naruto-kun. I don't know how to thank you, said a flabbergasted Yugao. The blonde grinned. Its name is Kyoka Sujetsu, Water Mirror. It can channel Suiton chakra. I'm sure it can complete your Kenjutsu style, explained Naruto, earning a nod and a smile from Yugao. Naruto took a new scroll, opened it, and set it on the ground. He looked at Yugao. This, Yugao, is the dragon summon contract. I want you to be the first summoner beside the Namikaze, said Naruto. Yugao looked at him with wide eyes. Are you sure, Naruto-kun? Asked Yugao, completely stunned. Naruto nodded and grinned. Yugao bit her thumb and signed the scroll with her blood. She stood up and looked at Naruto. So, what's next? Asked Yugao. Bite your thumb and make these hand seals. When you are finished, slam your hand on the ground and shout Kuchi is snow, invocation technique, said Naruto. Yugao nodded, bit her thumb, and did the hand seal. She slammed her hand on the ground and shouted no, invocation technique. A loud puff of smoke was heard. When the smoke cleared, stood in front of them a dog-sized blue dragon. Its eyes were blue sky with black slit. It looked at Naruto and bowed. Greeting, Naruto-sama. It's been a long time, said the dragon in a feminine voice. Naruto grinned widely. Yeah, it's been a long time, Sapphire. I want you to go to the dragon realm and tell Bahamut Jiji that Uzuki Yugao is the first summoner of the dragon beside me, said Naruto with a wide smile. Sapphire nodded. I will. I'm sure that Bahamut-sama will be pleased. He speaks highly of her, said Sapphire, while Yugao was blushing at the praise. Well, I'm on my way. Naruto-sama, my best to you, said Sapphire. Naruto nodded and grinned. Sapphire disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto was about to speak again, and he was cut off by Yugao's lips pressed against his. Naruto widened his eyes before returning the kiss. The two shared the kiss for 2 full minutes before parting away, panting slightly and blushing. Yugao quickly regained her composure. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I began Yugao before being silenced by Naruto's lips. When Naruto pulled away, he looked deeply in Yugao's eyes. Don't be sorry, Yugao-chan. I have loved you since the first time we met. I never said anything because I was afraid to screw up and lose you, said sincerely Naruto. Yugao looked deeply in Naruto's eyes, searching for lies, but found none. She shed a few tears before hugging Naruto tightly and sobbed quietly in his chest. I love you too, Naruto-kun, whispered Yugao while sobbing slightly. Naruto's heart missed a beat at her answer before kissing her with all the love and passion he could. When they parted away, they remembered that they had a mission, so they put their mask on and took off to the Hokage Tower. Unknown to them, they were watched by 3 people via crystal ball. The 3 people had a large smile on their face. When they arrived at the Hokage office, they saw Yamato, Kakashi, and the Hokage smiling at them. The new couple raised an eyebrow, but didn't say anything. They stood in front of the Hokage, who returned into his commander mode. Greeting Team 1, this is a S-rank mission, said the Hokage. The end. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.